without further ado, everybody, I would like us to all put our hands together and welcome the one and only, the truly spectacular Cheryl Chapman. Hello there, Cheryl. Can you hear us?
I can. Good morning. For some reason, my video is not working.
Well, we can see you actually. We can see you right now.
Hello. I can't see anybody else. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
You can't. You might be able to see me. Can you see me?
I can see you. You're lovely. Yes, that's a very fabulous view. Thank you.
Well, there you go. It's only me and you that's got our cameras on, so it's only me and you that will be able to see each other. Okay. Everybody else is in the webinar sort of.
Okay. So I'm just trying to share screen.
Oh right. Yes, of course. Yes, let's do that. Let me stop sharing my screen. Right then. So you should be on your screen now.
Fabulous. So let me host this in there. So
right. Actually. There you go. Right. Try that now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So thank you, Jay, for this.
Cool. Perfect. Right. Cheryl, over to you. Thanks very much. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Okay. I just want to make sure that I can see your where is it? The meeting information. I want to know who's there. I want to know what I'm looking at. Cute chat. That's what I want. Okay, great. I've got you. Hello. I can recognize some names. So I wanted to share this with you. When I was younger, I've got a sister, and my mum bought her a doll, and my sister was happy, and I was sad. And so when my sister went out, I went to her bedroom and I took the doll and I pulled the head off and I pulled the arms off and I pulled the legs off. And when my sister came home, she was sad and I was happy. Now, the reason why I'm telling you about this violent attack is because, in case anyone thought they might heckle me, I want you just to know who you're dealing with. I'm joking. Okay, that was just a way of helping people to be in the audience, know who I am if you've never met me before. Now, can you just let me know, can you see how online business owners have the confidence to be recognised as the go-to person? Can you give me a yes or a no? Because honestly, this is like having one eye open and one eye closed. Okay, you can. Perfect. Good stuff. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Thank you for seeing. Thank you for supporting me there. And the next one I want to ask, because I don't really know a lot of these names. Fabulous new names, loving it. So can you put in the chat box, do you have an online business? What do you do? You know, is it a new business? Have you just got an idea? So one, if you've got a business, and what is it? And two, are you just kind of new to the game and you're just exploring? Because I'd like to know who's in the room so I can tailor the presentation to who you are. So new. Yeah, okay, great. So fairly new. Okay, good stuff. Affiliate market rather than okay, still trying. Yeah, new. Online and consultancy, great. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, David. Eva, business to business. Oh, wow, there's loads of you, isn't there? Refurb, okay, yeah, great. Affiliate marketing, okay. So let's begin then. We'd like to start an online business. Thank you, Christopher. Nico, is that right? And whereabouts are you in the world? Let's find out where you. Let's find out about where you are in the world, please. UK, Europe, further afield. New Hampshire. That's another planet to me. I'm up north. Derby, yes, sort of northern. London, Oxford, Gosport. Oh, Yorkshire, David, hello. Dorset, Ghana. Wow, Catherine, fabulous. Brilliant, New Zealand. All right, now. Okay then, so how online business owners can have the confidence to be recognised as the go-to industry without spending hours on social media? Just put yes if you think that sounds like a good idea. Because there exists right now a way to be recognised as the go-to person in your industry, right? Without feeling the pressure of having to deliver perfectly polished speeches. Let me know if you're a little bit scared about standing up and speaking out. Georgia, thank you. Oh, okay, I'll come back to that in a minute. Without having to be the world's biggest secret, because that's no fucking good, is it? Oh, hello, I'm a potty mouth, in case you didn't know. Here's how, right? With the Sensational Positioning Program. Now, I'm going to share more about this with you in a minute, but I just want to just share some other things first. So first of all, let's be honest, right? Why does it matter about you if you're doing an online business? Now, it looks like some of you are doing, face-to-face training, if you're doing property. If you're doing affiliate, though, you're online, right? So who cares about you? You're just doing an affiliate market, right? Well, let's just have a little explore here. These are, according to our lovely Google, the 4 top online businesses at the moment in the UK. Okay, so hopefully you can see and agree with her. So first of all, Amazon. Tell me what you know about Amazon. Let's just keep it in the chat here. Tell me what you know about Amazon. Let's find out. Did you know, for example, that A to Z is because, yeah, Bezos has no products yet, sells data, biggest in the world, yeah, brilliant, yeah. A to Z. He started with books and he wanted to go for the whole spectrum. Yeah, started out with books because he looked at some products and he thought, what does everybody want? Fulfillment business, selling other people's products, books, yeah, exactly. So if you Google how did Amazon start or what's the history of Amazon, this is pretty much what you get in the first part, right? So you get a lovely picture, so you know what the guy looks like. I hope that is him, by the way, because I always thought he looked slightly different. And it was founded in a garage and his parents invested. Now, you might not have known about that because I didn't know about that, but I do know that it is like, online bookseller and well, it's taken over the world, isn't it? And killing quite a lot of businesses, or at the same time, it's very, very handy. So everyone's got an opinion on it, I'm sure, right? Let's have a look at the next one. So we know a bit about the story. eBay. Tell me what you know about eBay. He made a loss for quite a while. Oh, that's interesting, Hugh. I didn't know that one, but that's interesting. So what do you know about eBay? Tell me about eBay. What do you know about eBay? Thank you for joining in, by the way. Georgia, Robert, Lynette, Catherine. Did Elon Musk start eBay? Ah, yeah, question, yeah. Easy to sell anything. Not so much, interestingly enough, but the second online product seller in the UK. They sell and they buy. Started off as an exchange place for gumball machines, I think. Yeah, sells other people's products, okay? So it was set up by Pierre. If I try to say his surname, I'll probably just embarrass himself and just pretend it's Yorkshire. In the back bedroom in September 1995. Oh, so a second company that started in 1995. And it was meant to be like just a place of selling goods. I think it was a fax machine or a printer that I think he sold, first of all. Online auction, shopping site, taken over by the big boys. Yeah, okay, right? So that's at eBay. So we know a bit about it. We might not be so sure about this person, but we know a little bit about it. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for joining in. What about Argos? Because that's the third biggest online retailer, if that seems a bit of an oxymoron. What about that for a word on a Saturday morning? Yeah, so what about Argos? Because like online retailer, we think of retailers being real, don't we? But we're still selling stuff. So what do you know about Argos? Apart from they have long queues. Never heard of Argos. If you're not in the UK, you probably haven't heard of them. Was online with Woolies, yeah. LOL, blind Greek myth. I love it. Oh, I'm getting to know you, Jerry. Yeah, it didn't start off as an online business, did it? No, it didn't. Standard products, cheap prices, brilliant returns policy, no risk purchasing. Love it. Okay, so Argos actually, well, if you're not in the UK, and even if you're under the age of probably 40, you might be lost on this bit. It was started by a guy called Richard Tompkins. Anyone who's as old as I am will remember Green Shield stamps if you're in the UK. And Green Shield stamps used to be where you get little books and you put in these literally Green Shield stamps, like normal, like little tiny Green Shield stamps in the thing. And you'd get all these stamps in a book and then you take it in and you could exchange it for something. And it took something like 400 books to buy a toothbrush. Sharon's old like me. Well done, Sharon. We're still here though. Yeah. So this is how it started. And then, of course, he moved it into the fact that people could buy stuff with money rather than just the books, right? Founded in 1972, hence the reason why. Hugh's joining in now. We're having a memory lane, aren't we? Used to buy and sell Green Shield films. Fabulous. That must have been behind the bike sheds when you were young, Hugh, obviously. What about Tesco's? What do you know about Tesco's? Apologies for the people who are not in the UK, actually, if this is starting to get a little bit nichey. What do you know about Tesco's? Martin's doing a flashback. Hope that's a flashback and not a flash. Rent space, yeah. Tesco's can't count. Every little counts, popular widespread abroad as well. Okay, cool. I haven't been abroad for a while. Supermarket, yeah. But now they're the number 4 online business in the UK. The UK's worst supermarket. Stack 'em high, sell 'em cheap. There we go. So what's the thing that they all have in common? I mean, here's the guy, Jack Cohen. If my husband, if I buy anything for a party, like a cake or something, and someone says to me, oh, did you make this yourself? I'll say I did. Me and Tess Cohen, because his wife's called Tess. So I'll go, yeah, I did. So he made a profit from £1 from his sales of £4 in the first day that he did. He used to sell like food that was left over, right? So they're all entrepreneurial. I think we can probably agree with that. Yeah, can you give me a whoop whoop for entrepreneurial? Whoop whoop. I'll do it myself because I can't hear you, of course. But what else do we know about them? Well, here's the thing, right? I buy Tesco's Swiss roll. Fabulous. Oh, Swiss roll, there's a memory lane. But another time. So listen, here's the thing, right? If people don't know who you are and you're not a household name, how can they trust you? That's my question. There have been many, many, many surveys done. And the one that I always like is when someone walks up to you and says, do you want this 10 quid? And in this survey, the amount of people who said, no, you're all right. Because guess what? They think it's a scam. They think you want something. Immediately, the mind goes, doesn't it? The mind is absolutely set on familiarity. So it loves what's familiar. So anything out of the ordinary, it's like, what's this all about? But it is designed to do three things. And I learned this from Marissa Peer. I'm a trained rapid transformational therapist. I can have you on a couch and I can sort you out in 2 hours if you want. That sounds so wrong, doesn't it? But you know what I mean, like in terms of your mindset. So she taught me that the mind does three things. It is designed to keep you safe first and foremost. So anything that is out of the ordinary, it immediately thinks there's something going on. Something dodgy, something weird, you can't trust it, be on your guard. And then when you're on your guard, you go into what's called fight, flight, or freeze, or I say feral cat. And you know the feral cat, because if someone keeps going on at you and they don't shut up, you'll probably just give them a little swipe of your claws and then you will move on. So it goes back to when we're marketing. Now, I'm not a marketer. That's not what I'm here for today. You know, you'll find out a bit about me in a minute. I'm an entertainer. That's what I put myself down these days because you've got to do something when you're stuck in your house, right? But actually, I have worked out that you do need to be seen, to be heard, and to still be you. Because the problem is most people then try to be somebody that they're not. And in this day and age, I think gone are the days of bullshit, bollocks, and bravado. I just made that up. It's quite good. I hope that's on the recording. Would you agree? It's much better to like really just know who you're dealing with. Like, you know, let's get rid of all this. I mean, let's be honest. I'm not getting into a big, thing here, but there's so many people for the injections and against the injections, and this is good and this is bad. Like, everyone's got a freaking opinion, right? So it's just about being real, because then you don't have to pretend to be anybody else. You can just be you. And those people that like you, great. And those people that don't, great. They'll go somewhere else. Okay. So many online businesses, and it's not just online businesses, it's many businesses, but online businesses, you've got the added bit of like people are dealing with you online, right? So a hidden behind this technology, it's called like funnels and, everything's hands off and, and it's all this kind of like automation, right? But they're invisible to the potential clients. Now, if you've got a product like 47 quid, like Jay was showing us before, great, 47 quid's a bit of a no-brainer, and you're probably going to trust somebody to go, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go, right? I'll give it a shot. What price do you have? You can join in with me here if you don't mind. What price do you have where you'd want to be looking out for what somebody was about? So imagine you're online, there's a product, a service being offered, and you're like, I need to know a bit more about this. When do you start thinking, I got to check this one out? This could be an absolute, because it's where we go, isn't it? Oh, this could be a con. $100, 47 quid, 100 quid plus, yeah? $97. So if it's $97, you're sort of all right, but anything over, yeah? Okay, over 150 quid. Yeah, so we've all got a level, haven't we? And look how low those are. Right. So there's a lot of people online right now who are, asking you to, book a call with them and then selling you like thousands and thousands of pounds of products. I'll be honest with you, that's one of the ways that I get clients. OK, but the truth is they've got to know, like, and trust you before they'll do anything. Look, you guys are telling me it's got 100 quid's about there. I want to know about them. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not breaking up. I hope it's just a personal thing. Okay, yeah, everyone's okay, good. So what I say is you've got to be able to pass the Google test, because if you're selling anything online or you want people to move offline and have a conversation with you, they're going to start searching for you if that's going to be more than 100 quid. Does that make sense? Yeah, give me a thumbs up, a yay or a Y or something in the chat box so I know you can hear me. Yeah, perfect. So if they can't find you, they're probably going to think it's a scam, even if your products are online, right? So let's have a look at this. I had a look at Mr. Coulson, because we all know him, don't we? And I do a 3-point check. Okay, so the first one is, if I type in your name, what comes up first? Are you on that first page? I know you don't always have to have a website, but is there something that comes up that says who you are, right? If you're a business, LinkedIn's probably not the best thing for you to have. It is good to have a landing page, you know, and or a website. Let's be honest, websites ain't making you money. It's just a big business card, right? But look, we got Mr. Coulson. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's just go up a bit. We've got Mr. Coulson here. We know straight away a bit about his backstory, just like we learned about Jeff Bezos. We learned about Pierre from eBay. We learned about the Green Shield Stamps guy, Richard, and we learned about lovely Mr. Cohen, right? So Simon Coulson climbed the corporate ladder with BT. Well, we know that because we know him. But before we knew him, we didn't know it, if that makes sense. Then I go to the second check, which is, do you have a picture? And as you can see here, Simon, I mean, there's some bloke here, some random here called Simon Coulson, unless that's Simon after he's had some beauty treatment, I don't know. But pretty much it's Simon, isn't it? It's Simon's world there. Great, so he's got a monopoly there. Geez, we would hope so for an internet expert, wouldn't we? And then I go to video, because look, when you're on the first part, it's words. People can read about you. When you go to picture, they see a picture of you, but they don't really know you, do they? But if you're on video, now people go, oh, I get to know, like, and trust this person. I get to see them in action. Now, I know right now, some of you will come out in a cold sweat about the thought of being on a video. Just give me a, oh no, if that's you, right? Simon after a beat treatment. Yeah, oh no, she mentioned the video word. I don't want to do that, right? Okay, but that's where we are. That's my 3-point check. It is me, because like no point saying do this and then finding out that I've not got any presence online, of course, because you'd be Googling me now, of course, if you were thinking, well, she might be a scammer herself. So you can see me, Cheryl Chapman, I'm on the top. By the way, Simon also pays for his page at the top for the Internet Business School, which is good. I don't do that, I've got to be honest with you, because mine's not really online. I like to get to see people and hear them. That's why I always jump on a call afterwards. So you can see me. Now, can you see here? You know, I've not been around the block as much as Simon. So there's some woman here who looks fabulous. I mean, I wish that was me. And there's a couple of other people here, right? So, but out of those first sort of couple of levels, this one is me. I know I look like me dead now. This one is me, and this is me when I had black hair. And this is me trying to do the splits at, you know, 55 plus. Not a good idea. And then if you come over to the videos, there's some dance mama that's just appeared up here. I'll have to see what we can do about that. But you can see pretty much how to speak with Dr. Cheryl Chapman. I've got an honorary doctorate. I don't really use it. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm just who I am. Client testimonials, how to speak with Dr. Cheryl Chapman. Happy Father's Day, how to speak with Dr. Cheryl Chapman, right? So you see me. Okay. So is there only, oh, there's Catherine and Jerry that went no to the video. Everyone else has gone. So now let's check somebody else out. So you may know this guy. He's called Max Lammas, and he actually works with Simon. Now, some of you might not have seen him. He's in the background. Of course, he's working with Simon. And actually, it was Max and I that had a conversation about me being here today, right? So when we look at Max, he's got a LinkedIn profile. So great, he exists. You know, it's not like we can't see him at all. He's a business development manager for the Internet Business School. When we look at the pictures, there's one picture of Max. If you don't know him, he's the curly-haired Italian-looking chappy here. That's him. Next to it is something called Lammas Business School, and it's on about being in court. That's nothing to do with Max, just so you know. Then there's like some random pictures of daisies and fields. Now, if you were doing business with someone called Max Lammas, as in he'd got a product or a service, do you think that with this information, you'd be feeling okay? Yes or no? Now, I'm not talking about Max, because Max is a really decent guy, but you see his presence isn't there. Does that make sense? Now you look at the videos and there's a demonstration of friction. God knows what he's selling. The science of action. See, it's something to do with a Llama school, clearly, right? So this is what I mean about the Google test. If people can't find you, even if you're not going to be with them face to face, it's the first point of contact, right? So I want you to do your Google test. You can do them away from here. And then the question is, you may well already be there. Brilliant, well done. You know, my work here is done. Just stick around and we'll have a laugh. If not, how can we help you to get on there, right? So let's keep going. So here's something to know, remember, confidence grows when your potential clients can see you, hear you, and experience you. There is no way I'd be sitting on this without me being on here. Does that make sense? Now, I do have a webinar that runs, because I know Jay was talking about webinars before. It's an evergreen webinar, and I'm not on the screen, and it feels random. But what I do is I have a video before the webinar, if that makes sense, because then they've still got to see me, hear me swear a little bit. I always swear. If I don't say shit, fuck, or whatever, like before you do any work with me, like I've got to put you through, you know, some sort of like got to put you through some kind of like experience, because if you're going to work with me, like I just do it. I mean, my potty mouth. My mother was a Sunday school teacher, but I don't know, maybe I rebelled. Good question. Evergreen webinar is a webinar that is recorded and it runs all the time without you being there. Jay spoke about how you can, you know, don't think about making money while you sleep right now, but you can automate it. So you don't need to be there every time. I mean, I'm here live. Yay. It is 11:24, just in case you want to check. But you can do an evergreen one that just goes on and on and on. Plays whenever you want. Okay. So 85,000 online businesses launched during lockdown in the UK alone. I'm really sorry, guys, by the way, because I didn't realize that we were going to be international. Otherwise, I'd have made it a bit more international, right? Yeah, be shock resistant to work with me. You're absolutely right, Eve. I tell it how it is. I'm Yorkshire, I'm old, and then we get on with it. That's it. I just say it as it is. If you ask me if your bum looks big in this, if your bum's big, I'll say no, it's your bum. And I'll also expect it the other way around. So that's good. Okay. So here's the thing, you can now get a way to be recognised as a professional in your industry without needing to appear self-centred. Sometimes when you go on video, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to feel like I'm going to be attacked. You know, people are going to think I'm blowing smoke up my ass, you know, and I'm not. Without having to present your products or services like everybody else, you know, like in a kind of wooden way, or without having to be salesy. You know, a lot of the people I work with are like, oh, I just hate selling. Just let me know if you like buying stuff, by the way. Just put me a yay in the chat box if you like buying stuff. Stop saying you're old. Yeah, we love buying stuff, but do you hate being sold to? Of course you do. I know that's the difference. So here's the key. Okay, so I believe that the key to having, you know, is to have a personal and a professional presence, or a professional and personal one, if I'm reading the words the right way around, so that your clients get to know who you are and what you stand for. Because that way you attract the clients that are right for you. And you repel the ones. So on here, look, if anybody doesn't like women swearing and they're not really interested, I'm perfectly fine for you to go. I mean, I send you love, but I understand, you know, I'm a little bit, is it right field, left field? I don't know where I am. I'm in a field somewhere. And some people like me and some people don't. And I don't do it to try and not be liked, but at the same time, there's no point trying to pretend who I'm not, if that makes sense. So most importantly, you're going to avoid being the world's biggest secret. You're going to avoid worrying about, will people understand what you actually do, okay? And there's one simple strategy that I want to share with you today, which is where you can get the confidence to be recognised. Because it takes a bit of confidence to go, here I am, warts and all, this is what I do, this is what I stand for. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's good. But this is who I am, right? Even if the thought of presenting on camera is a bit daunting, okay? Even if you're not quite sure about how you can create an impact, as in an impactful presentation, if you don't really know what your core message is, particularly if you're really new right now, even if you've never been shown how to deliver a message. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I'm never standing behind a lectern, is that the right word? Anyway, one of them podiums. I'm never standing behind one of those reading notes. It's not my style. I got a few slides here, of course, but I'm not really reading the notes, right? So who am I? And you're probably thinking, who am I anyway, right? So I'm an international multi-award winning speaker trainer. I'm a speaker, award-winning speaker. I've traveled across the world, spoke in places like Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, South Africa, across Europe, Canada, America, in London. I've been to London, Manchester, you know, like wherever, right? And I basically mentor humans. So it wasn't always this way, right? I couldn't stand here and go, this is who I am and this is what I've done. And I've helped thousands of men and women to find their why, okay? As in, not a mentor to cats, fabulous. But I've helped men and women to find their why, which means I've helped them to find their purpose and their passion, usually in the later half of their life. And the reason why I do that is because, I was in an audience in 2011. I went to see Bob Proctor. I don't know if you've ever heard of Bob Proctor. It was my first toe dip into the waters of personal development. And I was there by myself. I thought personal development was all a bit meh, you know what I mean? I worked in corporate. I turned into the man I should have married. You know, I'm all about action. You know, yeah. And law of attraction, I was like, oh my God, what the hell is this load of rubbish? But on the stage that day came a guy called Andy Harrington, and you may well know him in this arena. I didn't really care for him, if I'm really honest. He was a bit bolshy. Yeah, just, I don't know, a bit big-headed. I thought he was a bit big-headed. And then, little did I know, this guy was going to change my life, because he looked at me and he said, if you were to die tomorrow, who would mourn your loss? And I said to the girl that I'd met next to me, well, I've got about 43 friends on Facebook. What do you reckon, Ayosha? And she said to me, well, I've heard if it rains, nobody turns up. And you sound like you're from the north of England, so you're probably going to have a quiet do. And we were laughing our heads off, you know, as you do. Even when you're talking about death, you're laughing. And Andy then looked at me and he said, if that number is small, it meant you led a life of small influence. Now, looking back now, because at the time I had no idea what was going on, I reckon that was talking to my soul, the essence, whatever word you want to put around that. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know who he is, what he stands for. I can see him, but he knows me, because I got a feeling for him. Does that make sense? I could hear his words, I could see him, wasn't sure to begin with, but when he said that and he looked straight at me, I was like, wow. And my question on that day was, why am I here? What is the purpose of life? Honestly, it was like some sort of weirdo stuff. So you find me running to the back of the room and I'm enrolling in his £2.5 grand, public speakers university. But the thing was, when I got there, people were saying to me, what's your branding? I was like, that's what we do to cows up north. What's your business? I didn't have a business. The only experience I'd ever had of a business was my dad had got a window cleaning business, but he fell off the ladders 2 weeks in, broke his legs, and we nearly lost his house. So my association at that time with running a business was zero and less, because it was bad, right? So then this guy, I remember this guy who looked a bit like Where's Wally with the glasses and the striped shirt. He said to me, so what are you doing here? And I said, oh, that's dead easy. I've come to find friends for my funeral. And that was a standing joke and still is to this day. Does that make sense? So I started to follow Andy. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was given the opportunity to coach and mentor some people on speaking. I wasn't particularly brilliant, but I was better than the newbies, if that makes sense. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm here for. Like, I can tell people, like I'm allowed to tell people that's rubbish, that's good, do this, do that. Oh, because I'm not really a coach. I don't ask for your input. This is on speaking, right? And then I started to find people who would go through courses. I think earlier on, someone said course after course after course. Hello, been there, done that, and not do anything about it. So I was like, right, I can help people to get into action, because I'm all about tangible. How does it work? How does it, what can you get from this? What's the return on investment? I've been in corporate, you see, looking after P&Ls. Like that J one that he showed you before. Oh my God, that brought me back. I was nearly twitching. That's the sort of stuff that I used to do every single day and look after that. Now I delegate it in my business, hashtag just saying. So what happened was, I started a business helping other women. I started with a book. So I wrote a book, Find Your Why, to become even more freaking awesome. I turned the book into a program, an online program. And then, just very similar to what Jay was doing there, I then put an event on. People came to the event. We've got lovely Irana here. She come to one of my events. Obviously, she's in my gang now. And then we did 3-day events. And then I used to go to Marrakesh for retreats. I'd got a beautiful space in Huddersfield. I know that sounds like a bit of an oxymoron again. Not what is it called? Anyway, dichotomy, whatever it is. And what happened was people would come and they'd be in the fields and, you know, it's beautiful space. I've moved recently and I'm by the River Trent now, so it's a different space. So people would come and we would welcome them and we would help them. We'd help them with their mindset, we'd help them with awareness, we'd help them to set intentions to get goals, and we would help them to manifest. So I was laughing before because when Jay was saying about law of attraction and everything, I used to say manifest, or as I say, AKA move your ass. Because sitting under a tree ain't going to work, right? So this became my world. But at the same time, if you'd have Googled me in 2011, this is what you would have got. Now, I know the picture's not brilliant because I've taken it from the Google and it's not very good. I can't make it any bigger. But if you Google Cheryl Chapman in 2011, you got this lovely Cheryl Chapman fluffing her breasts. The Happy Breast book. It's all about checking your boobs for cancer and stuff like that, right? Great. But it's not me. So I was like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? So, yeah. So what do you do? Well, I had to start doing something because I had to start becoming positioned as the person who was helping people to find their why. And there's a couple of questions here. Yeah, start with why, as in start with, WHY, as in your purpose. Like before you do anything, you've got to start with the purpose. What are you doing it for? I mean, what's the purpose of life? We can get really up here, can't we? That's not what today's about. But just as in, why are you doing it? Because there'll be bad times along the way. Jay said about that earlier, didn't he? You know, the rough with the smooth. And if you're not doing it for anything other than money, quite frankly, you might as well give up because that's not going to be enough. So that's what I was doing at the time. So what did I do? Well, I started to learn my trade. I was going around and talking in small venues. I was talking in slightly bigger venues. I'd be online. Anytime someone said, do you want to come and talk? I'd literally hop on because I started to get to be known that way, right? Now, that's not the same for you guys because you're not speakers, right? But that's what I wanted to do. But I was still selling a product. You see, here's the thing. If you're in business, you need to be able to speak about it, especially if it's your business, because nobody can talk about your business more passionately than you. And if it's just a numbers game, then that's okay. You know, you're not going to get all like I am animated. But if you can still be the face behind the business, think Apple, think Steve Jobs. Like he was one of the world's best orators, right? He would tell stories. Some people would twitch when you say stories. So what happened? I started to go around the world. The more speaking I did, I got on big stages. I met people like Brian Tracy, I met people like Marie Diamond from The Secret, Sharon Lecter from Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I started to mingle and schmingle with these people. Like Jay said, I mean, they're not my mates, but in the green room, it's little old Cheryl Chapman. Oh, sorry, not so old. Cheryl Chapman, I'm speaking in the Middle East. Oh my gosh, that's challenging because of course you're not allowed to swear there. So I didn't speak a lot there. I used to just have a presence. I'm speaking in London at big events. I would ask people, can I speak on your stage? Can I do this? Can I do that? And I just started to get out there. I won awards. I retrained, I retrained with Miriam Sapir as a therapist because I knew I needed to help my clients with that as well. Because mindset, everybody talks about mindset, but very few people know exactly how to change somebody's limiting beliefs. I got an honorary doctorate, as I said before. So it started to happen. Then I could coach my clients, business clients, they got awards in speaking and in creating businesses. I wanted to help my wise women to expand their awareness. So I did actually apply for the TED license. I couldn't speak, but they did, 22 women. And everything started to be, starting to turn a corner. So now when you Google me, you'll find, TEDx Only Top Women. Do you see what I mean? And so it really does start, to help me to be positioned. The more videos you do, I know Jay was saying that before as well, the more times you're out there. So what else can you do that gets you seen, right? How did I polish my speaking skills? I don't want this to sound as bad as it's going to sound. I spoke. Seriously. Like, and I don't mean just anywhere and everywhere. I mean, I spoke at events and I shared my truth and I shared who I was. When I first started speaking, I actually spoke like this, you know. I thought one had to speak very proper. And even with a Yorkshire accent, that doesn't sound too posh. And it was my husband who said, "What's with voice?" And I was like, "Oh, this is what one has to do." I had to remember how to speak Yorkshire because I was so worried about what other people would think. I thought they would see me as Yorkshire and they'd think I was thick. Does that make sense? Maybe you've had feelings like that yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because there is this big judgment thing, isn't there? We'll talk about that in a minute. And then guess what? It all went tits up, didn't it? And why did it go tits up? With our lovely Corona friend. So I'm sitting in Huddersfield in this beautiful space that people aren't allowed to come to. And I'm like, how can I help my clients now? Because we can't have 100 people in a room that they can speak to. We can go online, we can do Zooms, we can record Zooms, we can do webinars, of course, those are options. But I'd kind of already been talking to people on Zoom like for the last, well, since 2012, actually. That was my kind of go-to. So I was like, what can we do to do something different? Because when everybody else is doing the same, you've got to do something different to stand out from the crowd. Give me a why if that makes sense, yeah? Give me a why if that makes sense, yeah, of course. Brilliant, thank you. So I started to think, what did I do? Okay, so I went around the world. You can't do that anymore. I stood on stages. You can't do that anymore. But you could put some events online and you could get people to stand. And I was like, what can I create? So I did the International Women's Day. That's the day that I actually started my Find Your Why business anyway. So I did International Women's Day online, and I gave the opportunity for businesses to come and talk about their business, right? Mini networking, speaking, you know, whichever. Some wanted to do it for the speaking, some wanted to just do it to share their businesses, right? So that's what I started to do. Then it was like, how did I help people to be seen, be heard, and be themselves? So I was like, well, obviously I created the book, didn't I? So that helped. So maybe I could get people to write a book. But you know what it's like. Well, I mean, I'm slightly different because if I'm doing it, I'm doing it, if that makes sense. But the amount of people that said, oh yeah, I've been thinking about writing a book. Stop thinking, start writing it. But there's a block, isn't there? So we had to work on people's blocks. Then it was like, oh, hang on a minute. And I was actually sitting down, I think it was one Saturday night, and I was like, oh, Graham Norton. These people that come on his program are just selling their products and services, aren't they? Like, nobody goes on that program for any reason other than they've got a new film, a new film movie. They've got a film, they've got a book, they've got, you know, an album. Is it an album they have these days? A new soundtrack or whatever it is, yeah? So I was like, okay, so what can we do? So I thought, I'll do another TED Talk. But they rejected me. They rejected me because the people that I put on stage, in one case particular, wasn't independently adjudicated by TED. She didn't fit into the square box that they wanted her to be in. And so, do you know what? I thought, I can sit here and cry, or I can do something different. So I created an alternative to TED. If you like, I see TED as Microsoft, and the alternative is Apple. So for those people who've got, like, you know, they're a round peg in a square hole, they're a little bit crazy, they've got something else to talk about, they don't fit in, they don't like the rules. Do you know what I mean? I created the Live, Love, Laugh Lives. And that meant that they could stand on the stage still. We had to follow, you know, the rules, of course. And they would do their presentations, talk about their businesses. So, for example, Joanna runs the Millionaires Club. Over here, we've got Wendy. She's helping people to price their businesses up before they sell them. Gurjit does help with relationships. Noor was in a fire, 85% burns, lost all of her family apart from her father. And so she's helping youngsters to find a silver lining. My God, she's so empowering. Claire helps with property and networking. You know, and these are just a few that came last time. So we've done it 3 times now. And what I also did was I interviewed them. So this is me interviewing Dr. Dawn Gibbons-Cox, MBE, and she's talking about her business and how she beat Richard Branson and Dyson to be the #1 manufacturer of the year. And how, you know, because she's a bit weird and a bit wonderful, people don't always take her seriously, but we talked about that so she could share her truth. Stephen Green, don't know if anybody knows Stephen Green, property expert, been on Rich House, Poor House, is it, in the UK? Mr. Harrington, I interviewed him. And he was wanting to stick to the protocol, and I decided that I'd get him to share a bit more about who he really is underneath, you know, off stage. And then, of course, I wrote a book because it makes sense, doesn't it? But what happened was, for everyone who was interviewed, I transcribed, well, my team transcribed their interview, and that went in the book. So now they're all Amazon best-selling authors because they're in the book with me. Does that make sense? So now it's like, great. So they've got a video of them presenting, they've got a video of an interview, and they've got a book. So literally within 2 hours, they became professional speakers. They were interviewed, so that positioned them, and now they're also published authors. Now, not everybody wants every bit of it. Does that make sense? But can you see how all of a sudden that would help you to position yourself who you are? Give me a Y in the chat box just so I'm not just speaking to myself. That would be great. Or a no if you don't agree. Of course, that's perfectly right. Yeah, good. Y. Fabulous. So let me give you an example just of a couple of people. We've had loads of successes. Different people want different things. Some just want to go, oh, great, I'm now found on Google. That's brilliant. I don't want to be doing videos every 5 minutes, but I know I've got that one and I'll use that one wherever I can. But new opportunities came. So I don't know if you know this guy. He's called Martin Sharp. He is one of the most technical left brain people I've ever known. He works on massive contracts, for BA and other airports and stuff like that. Now, he's also got his own little business, and you may be able to tell by the photograph because he used to be fat, these are his words, and now he's fit. Okay, so he wanted to talk about that journey, so he wanted to share that, but he's got an online training program that he's selling. What happened was, once he did the video, he started to get more opportunities because people are Googling, aren't they? So he got asked to go on a podcast with this guy called Dean. He's been asked to write for a magazine. And oh my gosh, I can't promise this for everybody, and not everybody might want this. He's now actually a model. He's now got a modelling contract, and he may well be in the next Peaky Blinders. Now, I've never watched Peaky Blinders, but I know that it's a good, people are into it, right? So when you start to be seen, it's not just your business, it might be your personal life that enhances it. He's still laughing his head off, but he thinks it's great. Another income stream, right? And he enjoys what he's doing, getting his kids off, I suppose. Here's Mr. Harrington. So I interviewed Mr. Harrington. Now, anyone who knows Andy, do you know Andy? Let me just have a see of a yes, if you know Andy. He is always on business, isn't he? So when we did the interview, he used it as part of his marketing strategy. So maybe you got this email, right? So it says, hey, I'm thrilled to tell you, I'm thrilled that you are joining me at the Presentation Profits on the 12th of June. That was last Saturday. Guess what? I was on stage because I'm like, can I be on your stage? If you haven't already got it, please register for the Zoom here. We're looking forward to knowing you better and to shape your natural talent. So I thought I'd go first. In a recent interview, I recently opened up about my past, revealed some of my very sensitive stuff. If you'd like to watch it, because I'd like you to watch it, because if we're going to work together, I want you to know who I am, warts and all. And in proper Harrington subject, who wants to see me naked? And so this was his warts and all. Does that make sense? So of course, this is a marketing tool, right? So that's where it could be used as well. So I know you were talking before about emails. You could put this in one of your sequences, use the video that you've done. So this book, if you want a free copy, just text your name. I want a name, not just a number, of course. Just text it and send me your email to that number, 07967. I'll pop that in the old chat box too. So you can read about some of these other great stories. Okay. I interview people. Yes, absolutely. Never say no. Always say yes. Figure it out later. Yes, Maggie, let's talk. So what next? So now I love doing the same. I like helping other people to be seen, to be heard, and, of course, be you. So these are the services that we offer. I'm always open up front. Here we go. So the services that we offer are confidently creating a presentation. Okay, so that might just be that you want us to work with you and script it for you because you might be a scripty sort of person. In an authentic way, that's all about you and your business. We can set up an interview like I did before. So we've got all of the setting here. You literally walk in. Of course, I've got to get to know you a little bit before because I want to know what you're all about. So I then start selling your products. So imagine if you've got yes, you can WhatsApp, yeah. If you've got a product and a service and I've got to know you a little bit, and the main thing for me is, why do you do what you do? Because if people don't know why you do it, they're going to guess that you're doing it for the money. Does that make sense? So let's just, who is giving a free copy of the book? I'm giving a free copy of the book. So what happens is, if people don't know why they make it up, so in the interview, I'm talking about why you do what you do. I'm talking about what it is that you do. And I can say, oh, so what's this product that you're selling? Or what's this product that you have? Or what's this service that you've got? And you can speak about that in a really relaxing way, because if you're not a speaker, you would not want to stand on a stage and present. Does that make sense? Or maybe you do. So if you do, we could work on that. So just depends, it's really flexible what we do here. But to get a video with you being interviewed, you could then slice out little bits of content for that later on. And it's all done in a setting rather than on Zoom, because Zoom interviews, sorry if I'm going to offend anyone, but it's a bit last year. Does that make sense? Everybody's doing that. Do something different, stand out, become a best-selling author, because then once you've been in the book, we can transcribe that into the chapter, into the book, and now you can say, there you go, I'm actually in this book. There's a bit of positioning for you as well. And you also get a newfound confidence, right? Because everybody who stands on the stage, they're either relieved once it's finished, but at the same time, they're also really pleased with themselves. Like, wow, I did that. Do you know what I mean? Now, I can't be proud of you. I'm not your mother, but you can be proud of you. You can be like, yeah, I did this. And if you already do this and you've already got the confidence, then that's great too. But it does, because what's the reason why most people don't like to stand up and be seen? I mean, actually, in any shape or form, not necessarily just speaking, but like, why is it that people are afraid to put themselves out there? Do you want to pop in the chat box? Judgment, yeah, it is, isn't it? Fear of being judged. Anything. Is anyone interested? Brilliant, yes. Is anyone fear? What else? Come on. Judged by others, yeah. Don't think people will want to listen. Imposter syndrome, yeah. Fear of rejection, absolutely. There's so many, isn't there? Trolls, yeah. Oh, I had a load of trolls yesterday. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Criticism, ridicule, yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, I don't know if you know this. If you do, I'm just going to tell you again. The reason why the fear of public speaking specifically comes higher in some cases, for others, higher than death. And I remember Andy saying that means that if you're at a funeral and you're speaking the eulogy, you'd rather be in the box. Yeah. So the reason why that's so high is because it's actually not your fault. It's in your DNA. You know, that inbuilt fight, flight and freeze that we talked about before. You see, if you are in the, remember like back in the day, you're in the tribe, you're in the community, it's all safe, you've got the high walls around you, you know, everyone's in it, come by out together, the men go out in tribes, get the meat, the women cook it, you know, whatever's going on. It's a community, isn't it? It's a safe community, well, as safe as it possibly can. Safety in numbers, you may have heard that saying, right? So if the tribe don't agree with you, if they judge you, if they don't like you, what is the one thing that they could do? Well, they could put you outside of the wall. They put you outside of the tribe. And if you get rejected by the tribe, you're dead, let's be honest. Because saber-toothed tigering on your own doesn't work. Doesn't work. So safety in numbers. So whenever we think that someone's criticizing us with this fear of rejection, it's actually nothing to do with really who you are now. It's all this generations of fear. But look, we don't live in tribes. Most of us don't live in tribes now. We live, even now, even more so, we're more isolated than ever. However, we still like community. And I believe that at this moment in time, community is key, because we're all kind of like, we want to, you know, watch each other's backs, etc. But when you get on stage, it's a different kind of fear. The fear does come from that ultimately in your DNA, but now it is about what will people say, and it's all about you. Notice how all that is about what's going to happen to me. Criticism, ridicule, trolls, jealousy, all coming this way, right? So it sounds very easy in principle, and it isn't easy when you're doing it, I'll agree. But it is about taking the focus off of you and putting it onto those people that you serve. Because if you can't help them, they're going to stay stuck. So it's about taking off of you and onto your audience, right? And there are techniques and there are ways that I can help with that. But in essence, that's what it's about. Because you're right, because the judgment, you see, we see the judge, don't we, with the gavel. And what happens is you get your freedom taken away from you at best. you get your life taken away from you if that DNA is kicking in. So it's about doing it. And it is about doing more about going, this is me, this is my truth, this is what I stand for, I believe in this. And if you don't, then that's fine. It's not a problem to me. But what does happen, you're absolutely right, is that some people want to give you their opinion. And that's what I want you to change the word judgment to. Whenever you feel judged, just go, this is someone's opinion. Okay? Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense. I'll come back and answer some questions in a minute. So you have to take a deep breath and you have to go, okay, this is just somebody's opinion. Okay, let me be honest with you. When I started right at the beginning of this presentation, I'm talking about ripping dolls' heads off, you would have had an opinion. So you may have thought it's a bit quirky. Some of you might have thought, what the hell is this all about? Like, oh my God, bring back Jay. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the way it is. What's this? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Love it. Yes. So it is just somebody's opinion, and we all have opinions every 5 minutes. Does that make sense? This is my opinion. It doesn't have to be your truth. It's my opinion, so it's my truth. Does that make sense? And it's a little bit like, have you seen that? I've got any paper here. Have you seen, like, oh, hang on, I have. That's not true. Let me just do it here, right? So if I do this, right, don't know if this is going to work. Let's just see. What number do you see? Can you pop it in the chat box? What number do you see? Can you see that okay? What number do you see? Anybody else? Just Jerry joining in? Okay, okay, yeah. So I definitely see a 6. 100% this is a 6. Nothing else. It's just a 6, right? Can you see? But some of you are saying, I can see a 9. Oh, I can't see a number. Does that make sense? It's a bit impromptu there. So if you look at it, you could see a 9 from where you are. I can see a 6. So who's right? It's just a perspective, isn't it? It's just a perspective. Does that make sense? It's just my opinion. My opinion is I see a 6. Well, actually, the evidence that I've got is a 6. So it's really big, is this judgment thing, and it will potentially stop you doing a lot of things in your life. So we've got to get this sorted. You know, got to get this sorted, not just for speaking, not just for being on video, not just talking about yourself, you know, not appearing big-headed, frightened that you might be imposter syndrome. I'll tell you now, imposter syndrome never goes away. I've spoken to loads of famous people, never goes away. So it's about finding you a newfound confidence that helps you to do what you do, help those people that you can serve, and then of course that makes life a better place for at least 2 of you. That's you and your client, right? Good stuff. Okay, let's see. So there is a simple method. I want to help you to show you how to position yourself naturally. So let's dive into this. And so this is my program, okay? So the first thing, if you want to be sensational, and the reason why it's sensational is a play on words. Of course, you're freaking sensationally awesome. The chances of you being on this call right now, being born, we can go back into your mum and dad having to have sex and that particular sperm and egg, you know, finding you, you know, and creating you is like odds are against, aren't there? So of course you're sensational, but it's also how can you bring in all the senses when people are, you know, looking at you. Now, I don't mean you want people to start licking your face. That's not what I'm talking about, but just generally, do they get a good taste in the mouth around you? You know, do they smell a rat? You know, these are all the things that can come in. But first of all, at the beginning, I already spoke about this. You've got to have a purpose for your business, a purpose for your online, you know, a purpose. Why did you choose what you chose to try and, you know, sell or create online? And if you're new and you're not sure what that is right now, this is the key. Find out why you are here, why you're on this planet, why you know you're here. You're here for much bigger things than to just eat shit and die. I mean, let's be honest, that's part of the process, of course, but that can't be the only reasons why we're here. So are you here to make a difference in your life, in somebody else's life, in more people's lives? Are you here to live, you know, happy, healthy, wealthy? And wealthy is not always money, but of course that helps. You know, anyone who says money doesn't buy you happiness doesn't know where to shop, quite frankly. So what is it? You know, what is it? And it's really, it is a little bit deep at this level, but what is the purpose? And then of course, there's the purpose of the product, the service that of course you want to offer to people. You know, what does it actually do? Next, it's about the people that you are serving. Who is your audience? I'm sure within this internet business school, you have heard about niching or niching or, you know, like avatars, who's your audience? Because if you are not sure, I mean, look, I get this a lot of times, right? A lot of my clients will say, I can help everybody, Cheryl. Great. Have you got pockets big enough and deep enough to get the marketing to everybody? And also the problem with that is, how can you speak to everybody? Think about this for a minute. If you are speaking to a 17-year-old teenage boy and you're speaking to a 65-year-old woman, do you think the conversation and the language is the same? No way. Does that make sense? No way, Jose. So you got to pick your lane, pick your tribe and stick to that, because then you can have a conversation with those people. Every time I'm talking, I'm just talking to one person. I mean, if I'm using some names like Hugh, yes, exactly. And, like, of course, I'm speaking just directly to you, but most of the time I'm speaking just to you. But that's you, right? So already I know today I'm speaking to people who are fairly new into this space, that are exploring. So it's already not good where you are, because you wouldn't be exploring if it was all perfect, was it? So I know that there are people who are on a journey, if that makes sense, a journey to make some income, to do the things that they want to do with their family, their friends, and to help some other people, right? Let me know if that's not true, but you can give me a yes if that is, you want to serve, you want to help, you want to make your life better. Of course, you want to make some money along the way. Don't want to be sleeping on the streets. But ultimately, deep down, it's not going to be just for the money. You just go and work in a factory if that was the case. So it's got to be something deeper, right? You've got to know that you matter, that you came to this planet, that you made a difference, if that makes sense. And I know it's getting a bit deep, so but that is the truth, isn't it? Position. How can you position yourself? Now, I'll give you a few ideas. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. Prepare. How do you prepare yourself before you're going to make a presentation, before you're going to write a blog, before you're going to do an email? You've got to be in the right place. Otherwise, you're just going to talk absolute rubbish. So you've got to be able to prepare in a way that that every time that's going to resonate with your audience. So Catherine's saying, stuck on my niche, I know importance, but stuck on whether or not I am serving founder CEOs or women who want to lose weight. So difficult to decide. Okay. I've got a process for that helps you to understand like which way, because you're right, they seem quite at odds with each other. Or maybe it's a CEO that wants to lose weight. A CEO is a woman who wants to lose weight. That'd be niched. How do you present? So which ways can you present so that you can start to be positioned? Because remember, this is all about positioning. And then how do you promote yourself? Okay. So I'm going to share a couple of ways with you today. So we're going to look at position. Now, I don't know if any of you have got paper, pen. I don't know if you're being really studious. If you have, you can write down 4 S's. Now, there are, of course, extra layers of what this is, but very superficially, I'm just going to share the top layers with you on these, just to give you an idea so that you can start exploring these for yourself, right? So the first one is, whenever you are trying to position yourself, you need to have structure. And it was fabulous that Jay talked about that earlier on, didn't he? Structure. So what is your plan? What is your structure? And what I want to just point out here is that I have a structure to what I'm talking to you about. Most of the time, I don't really know what I'm going to say next. But when it comes to this piece, because I'm just in flow, but in this piece, can you see how I've got a structure? It's a framework. So that means that, guess what? All the logical left brainers, and I imagine there's quite a few of you here, just because of the way that Simon is. Simon's very logical, isn't he? So all the logical left brainers, and most of us have both right brain and left brains anyway, will love the structure. Does that make sense? Yes or no, guys? Let me know, yeah? Because the structure helps me to stay on track, because I bet you can imagine I'd be wandering off down here talking about fairies or something, but it keeps me on track. You can see where we're going, and there is a framework that I follow with all of my clients. So I've got a strategy, I've got a structure. So you've got to have a structure. Now, if you're just selling a widget, you won't need necessarily the structure outward facing. No, your clients don't need to see that, but you need to have a structure behind the scenes, like Jay was showing you before with, the structure of the spreadsheets, etc. Right? And again, lots of layers here, but just top level, that's what it is. 2, you need some statistics, because again, for the logical left brain people, they need to understand why they need to even think about this or what it is. So if you're selling widgets, how does this help someone's life? How many minutes does it save them? How does it help their health? statistics around, if it's health, 1 in 2 people at the moment in the UK, will get cancer. Like these are the statistics that really grab people's, attention. So I shared with you how many new online businesses there are just in the last year in the UK in COVID, right? So these are statistics, because people need to go, well, why the hell should I even listen to this? Then we get to the right brain, and the right brain is about story. Now, I've just told you my story. I've given you a little bit about why I do what I do. And so hopefully, you're on my side a little bit now, because it wasn't when I was 5, I fell over and, my mother left me, and well, it's not a story of woe, but it could be your story of your journey if that's who your clients are and their mothers left them and they were, that's what you're helping them with. You would share that part of the story with them, because here's something for you to write down, to know and learn, right? Your story is not for you, it's for your audience. Your story is not for you, it's for your audience. So whenever we used, back in the day, when I first started, like in 2011, there used to be all these big movie style, bloody movies before the speaker came on stage in helicopters and whatever. And it's like, who gives a shit? It's not my helicopter. Like, it's too early at the beginning of a story. Whereas hopefully, you can see why I'm passionate about this, because I had no Google presence at all. So I had to get some Google presence, because otherwise promoters ain't booking me. People don't know who I am. They're not going to buy my online programs. They're not going to come and trust me, because they don't know, like, or trust me, because I'm freaking invisible. Does that make sense? So hopefully that resonates with you. So your story has to be for your audience. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. And then they start yagging on about, what they did and how they did it and who cares. Like, I'm not bothered. And let me give you one tip now, that if you do have to stand up and speak, and it might not be you, but if you do, never, ever, ever, ever start any presentation with the words, "My name is." Because if you're not called Slim Shady, I'm not interested. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. I just need to know you're still there. Finally, you've got to talk about some success. You've got to talk about some success. Okay, let me just have a check-in. Yes. Are you still there? It appears to have gone quiet. I hope I'm still online. Let me just check the Q&A. Oh, yes, we are. Okay, great. Did I stun you into silence? Okay then. Okay, great. For a minute I thought you'd all gone. So that's the basic structure. Have a structure yourself, have a framework of what it is that you're, particularly if you're doing coaching, training, you're interacting with other people. Then have some statistics, have some story, left brain, right brain all get covered then. And you've got to have some success, right? People have got to see that you can walk the talk, if that makes sense. Brilliant. Okay, you've all caught up now. Making notes. You're all fabulous students. Donny sends his love. Who's Donny? Oh, whoever it is, thank you. If it's Donny Osmond, I'm in. The youngsters will have no idea who that is. Next bit, people, if they don't know why you do something, like I said before, they make it up. They think it's just the money. So we help you to craft your story as well. That's also what we do. And we share your message with you. Next, so I'm hopping around a little bit here, but I'm mindful of the time. I've got a bit more time than Jayad, bless him, but let's keep going. So how do you present? So it's about presenting, but it's also about how are you present, if that makes sense. So here we've got 5 main ways, and this is where you can start looking at, why shouldn't we start with "my name is," says Catherine, because nobody's bloody interested, Catherine, in what your name is. Let me give you an aside just to answer that question. Can you remember back in the day when we used to go to weddings? We used to go to weddings, start off, but we'd go to weddings. It was when the photographer would take all the pictures, and then the bride and groom would come round your house with like 14 albums. Let's have a brew. Have you got any wine? We've got some photos here at the wedding. Oh my God, oh, brilliant. And you're just one of the guests, like you're a friend of the bride or the groom, right? And you've got to sit through the slideshow or the albums. Anybody else remember those days? Let me know. Yes, if you do. Honestly, like, you had to take a deep breath in and just Just like go for it. You're not the bride, you're not the groom, and it was holidays. Oh my God, yeah, right. So, or you've gone on a group holiday. That's a really good one, Catherine. Thank you. Right, been there and endured that. And what are you doing? Seriously, let's be honest. We're not all being self-centered here, but all you're waiting for is that group photo where you're in it. Because you're like, oh, look, oh, beautiful. Oh, it's great. Oh, it's lovely. And it's not trying to be like disingenuous. It's just like, I've been there. I was at the day. I don't really need to frigging relive it. It's not my wedding. And you go through and you go and you look at, and when you see it, the reason why you want to look at that is because you want to know whether or not that bitch who had the same dress on as you is at the back. I'm joking. You want to know, what did I look like on the day, right? What did I look like on the day? So the truth of it is, people are not interested in you. They're interested in you if they want to position you the right person to go to, but right off the word go, my name is a bit like saying, I don't care anything about you, this is me. I mean, you know, you can do a lot. There are 4 fabulous ways of starting presentations. I use one of them today, and that story, by the way, isn't even mine. That story comes from an old comedian and poet called Pam Ayres. My sister's actually 16 years younger than me, so if I was ripping heads off dolls when she was 2 and I was 16, or 16 and I was 17, that would have been a bit wrong, wouldn't it? But yeah, our photographer was so drunk I wasn't in the group photo. Fabulous, love it. Oh my gosh, so funny, isn't it? So yeah, so people aren't interested. So you start a presentation with something that means that the audience go, oh my gosh, this I need to listen to this. Even if you're thinking, what is this woman all about? It keeps you intrigued, you know, rather than, hiya, my name's Cheryl. The only reason why we have names is because there's more than 2 people in the world. Because if there was only 2 of us, we wouldn't need a name, would we? Because I know I'm me and you know you're you. And if I'm talking to you and I'm only talking to you, I don't need a name, and neither do you, if that makes sense. Anyway, sorry, I digress, but thank you for the question. So this is about how you can position yourself. So first of all, how you can be present. We did it a little bit on the Google check. Okay, so nothing particularly mind-blowing here. They've got to be able to see a picture of you at the very least. So if this is on your, maybe this is in your funnel, you know, in your letter part of the funnel, in your copy part of the funnel. If you don't know what I mean by this, you know, it's just like when you're getting someone to come towards you, you can't say, hello, buy this. There's got to be a little bit of getting to know each other. It's a bit like dating. You know, you don't walk up to someone, well, when you used to walk up to someone in a bar, you don't walk up to someone randomly in the street and go, let's have babies. Mind you, I think someone did try that with me in 1980. But these days you don't say that. You've got to do a little bit of, you know, bit of getting to know each other. You know, maybe you're looking at a profile these days, swiping left, swiping right, I think is what happens. Been married for 25 years, haven't had to use that for a while. You know, so what is it? You know, you're starting to get to know each other, you get to meet each other on Zoom, you know, then you'll get to know each other, you know, and then even when you get to the nitty gritty, you know, usually there's a bit of foreplay, isn't there? So you like the picture is like, what do they look like on their profile? What do you look like? People need to see you, right? Next, you've got to have a bit of patter. Now, it's a patter because it's a P. Let's be honest. I'm not trying to pretend behind this. And the reason why these are all P's is because hopefully it'll be more memorable to you. So they've got to hear you speak. I was going to put parlay, and then I realised that it wasn't actually relevant. So I just went for patter. So they've got to hear you because there's something about someone's voice. Let's be honest, if you're going to do some work with somebody, particularly if you're going to be a client for somebody who's going to help you on a regular basis and you're going to meet them online, maybe your program is meeting people online as well. If you can't stand someone's voice, quite frankly, it's going to grate on you, isn't it? So you want them to know. You don't want people to go, oh, I'm not going to deal with you because of your voice. Has anybody seen Naked Attraction? I don't want you to put yes in the chat box because that might be a bit too much for you to share. Oh, someone did put yes though. And they start from the feet, don't they? And they basically, you look at all the body before you see the full body. I've only watched it a few times, only for experimental reasons and for the book, because it's in the book. But it's a very weird program because you start at the feet, then you see the knees, then you see the bits in the middle, you know, then the torso, then the neck, then the head. And sometimes the head doesn't match the body. It's like one of those games you used to play when you were a kid and fold over the paper and draw the body and then fold it over and pass it on and someone would draw the feet, right? But how many times have you heard someone speak and then you've thought, oh my God, that voice don't fit that body? That makes sense, yeah? So you've got to be able to listen. Plus, if it's not the tone of voice, it's what you're saying. So they've got to resonate with what you're saying, okay? That's why video is great because it combines the two. Next, you've got to be published. Now, whether or not that's a paper, a PDF, a top 10 tips, you know, for example, things to avoid, you know, a book, you know, whatever that is, you've got to be published, because these are all helping you to be present in someone's mind. And it does take, I think it's 20 interactions with somebody. So they've got to hear you, feel you, see you know, hear from you again, see another picture of you, a video, whatever, before they get to know, like, and trust you. Next one, this is really important. You've just got to be you as the person that you are. Because where all that fear comes from is when you're trying to be somebody else. And ask me how I know about this. I am just who I am. I can't really, I've been around the planet, the globe 50 odd times, 56, 57, I think, I can't remember exactly. And it's taken me a while. I only really woke up to who I was when I was 48, by the way, because up until then I was in the matrix trying to be everything that everybody else wanted me to be. But the reality of it is, the sooner you can become more comfortable with yourself, you're not pretending, you're not trying, you're just who you are, and you are absolutely amazing, the you, because there's no one like you. You're unique, right? Even if you're a twin, you're still unique. So it is about just being you, and then the people that resonate with you come towards you, and the people who don't, it's okay. You haven't got enough time in your life to be friends with everybody. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? So pop in the chat box for me. What's awesome about you? One thing that's really freaking awesome about you. I'm awesomely honest. Not everybody likes it. Yeah, still breathing. Good. Professor JC, lovely, persistent, funny. Great. I know how to talk. Fabulous. I have a terrible laugh and it's awesome. Fab. Everything. Well done, Lorraine. People love to see me and have a chat. So true, Kelvin. I have great taste in music. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many awesome things about you. Just be you. Everybody else is taken. And again, you know, David from Yorkshire. So there we go. And then finally, how can you still be professional? Now, look, you know, you might think, Cheryl, how, like, you're not professional, you know, you swear like a trooper and whatever, but I am, because my business is run professionally. That's the way I am. I do what I say what I do. You know, I've got people working for me, but we have a laugh. It doesn't mean to say we have to be all staid, does it? So it's all about being professional, you know, doing what you're saying, keeping your promises, you know, and helping your clients. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Again, there's ways that we can help you to do these, but ultimately, you know, you've got to be seen. People got to see your visog. They've got to hear your voice. Oh, there's another one, visog and voice. You know, they've got to see you, you know, in some sort of published matter, so that they can, like, go, oh wow, this person's created this, and then they just go, I really like that person, how they are. That's fine, or I don't, as the case may be. And then yes, they are professional. They do what they do. Good stuff. So here's the truth: trying videos at home ain't going to work. Because how many times have you tried to do a video, it's never bloody right, you start it again, ask me how I know about all this stuff. Whereas what we do is we create a space for you, you come along, you do your video, you get a bit of guidance, and then you leave, and then you've got it. You don't have to worry about all the bloody setup. You know, in home videos, I mean, you know, there's a time and a place for a Facebook Live, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? But if you've got a setting and if you want to look professional, then it really needs to be a professional setup, right? And also, you just keep wanting to be Polly or Peter perfect. You know, very few people do a one take. Well, we do here, because we've done a lot of preparation before to make sure it's all going to be fab anyway. Yeah. It's not like I'm going to write a book, because you don't probably have the time to do that. So that's not going to work unless somebody can help you to do it quicker. It's not being interviewed on Zoom. You know, sometimes when you're interviewed with people, they have their own agendas, don't they? I mean, I've been on the other end of interviews where people have just talked mainly about themselves, and then you're in there with your opinion, because they're trying to position themselves as the interviewer. Well, no, you want to be interviewed, so you're the star, right? And you've got to be professional, because you don't want to look like you're self-centered. It's just about you. It is about your clients. It is about what you give and what you serve them to. So to be recognised without having to spend hours polishing presentations, what can you do? Oh, now, this is me, right? So I just wanted to share this with you because it just happened yesterday, and you'll get to know who I am anyway, right? So this is something that I put up. I have got another money while I sleep vehicle, if you like. You know, and I invest in property, and I work, and, you know, and I contract, and, you know, and I do these lovely things. But this is one of the things. So I did a video when we were doing the last lives. I was like, oh, be rude not to. Let me do a little bit of a presentation around risk and why people get, you know, fearful about risk. So I put this up on YouTube, and within a week it had 1,500 views. I mean, you know, it's not mega thousands, but that's 1,500 people that hadn't seen it, you know, 7 days ago, right? So I put it on, and I was sitting here 2 days ago, Thursday, and I got this message. They're playing your video on the team empowerment call, just started, and a Zoom link. I'm like, I've no idea who the hell this is. So I went, oh, wow, fame at last. I'm on a call right now. And that's the video of me presenting on this other thing somewhere. No idea, right? So I was actually online to Australia at the time. So I went back with this reply. I'm on a 1970s fancy dress party online. Imagine if I turned up like this. So then the person says, well, why don't you? So guess what? I did. So I turned up to this business presentation dressed as a very British, was it Agna or something? Agneta from ABBA. And then this guy sent me a message saying, brilliant, Cheryl, well done for jumping on the call. I'm sure everyone loved it and we need to hear more from you. I was just like, thank you ever so much for the opportunity. So yeah, I always say yes. Does that make sense? But because that video was on YouTube of a presentation that I did, like this random person, I don't know him, and now of course we're connected and they're going to have me back, and you know, and of course next time I'll be able to give some more support, and I'm sure some people will come and join me. Does that make sense? So you never know where this is going to happen. Like Martin, who ended up being a model, not a supermodel, but a model, might be a supermodel next time. So listen, in a few days from now, you could have clarity to know how to connect with your ideal clients and who your ideal clients are, of course, an outline of your presentation that positions your products or services for you as the go-to professional. It's possible, right? In a month from now, you could be prepared for an interview, because the next filming is the 21st of July. It is in the UK, I'm afraid, unfortunately, for the people that are away from the UK. But you could still learn, you know, how to get an interviewer to ask the right questions for you, rather than the questions they want for you and your business, yeah? In a few months from now, you could be sharing professionally recorded videos, presentations, and attracting the ideal clients for you. You could be in a book in 3 months from now, an Amazon best-selling book, of course. So here's what I propose we do. Well, first of all, I'm going to just stop sharing, because I can just talk to you directly here. So here's what I am proposing. I'm proposing that can you still see me, by the way? Yeah. I'm proposing that, you know, if you've had enough of not being visible, or even if you've had enough of not really knowing who you are and what's going on, you know, jump on a call with me. We can look at what you're sensational at, what's your products, what's your service, who are you, what will other people benefit from you, you know, what's your pricing strategy, how can we create presentations for you? So in other words, you know, how can you find out what bit's right for you? It might not be standing up and presenting, it might be sitting down and presenting, it might be an interview, it might be being in a book, you know, whatever that is. It might be how to be a published author without writing a word. How to be recognised as a go-to in your industry. That's pretty much what we're doing. So what I say is, you know, if you've got that text number, or that number that I gave you before, 07967639603, send me a name, let me know. In fact, let me just go back to sharing this screen just for this piece. You know, let me know which area you want some support in, and I'll be open and honest with you. My services start from £500. So it depends what it is that you want. But let's jump on a call if you think that I can help and support you. And if not, no problem whatsoever. You know, I hope that you've learned something from today's session. So I don't know, I'll just leave that up for a few minutes so you can take a photograph of that if you want to. Send me a text, send me your name, tell me which area you'd like that you're interested in. And then what I'll do is I'll get the office to come back to you, and we'll fit you, you know, fit you up with a time to give us a conversation, right? Okay, good stuff. So let's have a look. We've got 10 minutes left. So what questions have we got? Is your book that you're giving away an ebook? It isn't at the moment, no, but I'll send you a PDF. Let me have a quick look. Writing a book is the work. It's time, but I feel the most awesome feeling to have left something to help people and eventually live a planet. Yeah, I mean, it is, you know, I think one of mine was, you know, when I was like, why am I here? I was like, I do think, you know, well, I know now because I've done a lot of work on finding my why, if you like. My why is to help people to stop asking why me and start saying why not me. That's my overall, you know, everything that I do. If that doesn't fit in that bit, I'm not doing it, if that makes sense. And I also know that I have what's called a why feeling. So I know when I'm on my why feeling, I am doing something that I love. And if I feel a little bit icky, I ain't doing it. It's as simple as that. I know how to say yes to things and how to say no to things. I'll always say yes to speaking and helping people because I love connecting this way. That's my, my way of choice, if you like. Any questions then? So I'm seeing some lovely comments here. Thank you very much. Multifaceted person, so difficult selecting niches. Yeah. Again, just start with one niche. Who can you help? Who can you help? Who do you love working with? And who can bring you some income at the same time? Because let's be honest, you're not a charity. You can't do something for free. Not yet. You can do that later on, when you start to get. So I have, I've got a group of Find Your Why members. And when they pay me £250 to join for a year, okay, to be around me. This is what we've just launched recently. And then what we do is we invest for them. And at the end of the year, we give them any profits, because now it's like a cooperative, do you know what I mean? So I'm helping people and I'm serving people. And then I help other people at different levels of investment, because it depends what they're getting. Does that make sense? But I started small. I started with a group of women who were 40 plus, who were lost and who felt like they were at a crossroads. And guess what? That was me 10 years ago. I resonated with them. I knew who they were. Okay. Other questions? Okay, got to go now. Enjoy your talk. Thank you very much. So, okay, no more other questions. Great to be part of this process. Thank you to Simon and the team. And I just hope that you will remember to live, love and laugh every day. Life's too short to be too serious. Nobody gets out alive anyway. So go forth, be brilliant in your businesses. That would be absolutely brilliant. If you want to share some of the successes that you've had. Joe, you've really helped me. I will always remember your rose petals in the bath and Gordon and Stella. Your past made you the person you are today. Take some credit for being a large part of how I was kickstarted into writing a book. Thank you, Georgina. Thank you very much. Thank you, says Trudy. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Stay awesome. See you later, guys. Take care. Bye.